this case, the most important thing to recognize is that there are two separate issues going on here. One is the Iranian people's battle with the regime. And there we support the Iranian people 100%.
Holy Gemara, you were pulling a number of faces there, none of which I would describe as particularly indicating an agreement with what Cenk was saying. So what would you like to say?
I mean, first of all, Cenk is not Iranian, so he has no idea what's going on in occupied Iran. Pretty sure Cenk doesn't speak Persian either, so he probably has no idea.
Is it that on the left you end up sounding like you're, shilling for a vile regime? The Iranian regime oppresses women. Well, hang on. Let me hang on. Is it they oppress women?
I know what you're going to say. I know. I hate the regime in Iran.
Right.
I hate the regime.
So why wouldn't you want it changing?
I hate the mullahs. There are Armenians living in Iran right now who hate the mullahs. Okay, but regime change should not be spurred by the United States and Israel, which wants to install.
You don't hate the regime in Iran. You don't hate the Islamic Republic. You hate us. You hate every single woman who get beaten up, who go to prison, who get lashes for the crime of just simply dressing like you. You hate us because you give misinformation to international community.
But there's a second issue also going on at the same time, which is that Israel wants regime change in Iran. They've wanted it for 20 years. They've agitated it for this entire time, including through the representatives of Israel like Mike Huckabee.
You say that the Iranian people do not want regime change being imposed by Trump administration or Prime Minister Netanyahu. Who said that?
Irfan Sultani, 26 years old, passionate about fashion, sports, style. He was arrested on Thursday, sentenced to death on Sunday. His family was told he'll be executed tomorrow.
How can you be silent? This is not okay. I'm no longer going to support Democrats. You Iranians, none of you should support Democrats. I'm honest. Honestly, I'm livid.
Tens of millions. No, actually, it's Persian. Persian is the English word for Farsi. So don't correct me when I'm speaking and don't interrupt me. I let you speak your garbage jihadi Islamist propaganda.
You should know your native language.
You do not get to talk over me. You do not get to talk over me or interrupt me.
Down with Islamic regime!
Down with Islamic regime!
Welcome to Boney's View. My name is Chisom, and you are tuning in to Chisom's Insight episode for no fluff, no spin, just the facts. Or, as a friend likes to say, this is straight knowledge served hot. And today's title is Democrats Betray Iranians, and Iranians are turning on them. Information coming out of Iran this week is horrifying. According to sources cited by CBS News, between 12,000 and 20,000 Iranians may have already been killed as the Islamic Republic cracks down on nationwide protests. Let that sink in. 12 to 20,000. Not rumors. Not speculation. Bodies.
There are reports tonight out of Iran that at least 12,000 people and possibly as many as 20,000 have been killed in the regime's crackdown on anti-government protests. Elizabeth Palmer in London has the details.
There was intermittent cell service again today in Iran, and information is trickling out about thousands of protesters killed by security forces. Here you can see Tehrani's looking through bullet-riddled bodies in the medical examiner's compound searching for loved ones. We counted roughly 400 dead here. Contacts in Iran also tell us that security forces are threatening hospital staff to turn over the names and addresses of wounded protesters. And one protester is due to be executed tomorrow.
The regime has cut electricity, shut down the internet, and silenced communication so the world won't see the massacre. This is a brutal, barbaric Iranian regime, killing its own people to stay in power. And yet, Iranians are still pouring into the streets, risking arrest, torture, and death. That's courage. For context, Iran is allegedly set to execute its first protester today, following mass arrests over the anti-regime demonstrations erupting across the nation, according to human rights groups. Irfan Soltani, 26, is allegedly scheduled to be hanged after his arrest during protests in Karaj last Thursday. Source: Iran Human Rights, IHR, and the National Union for Democracy in Iran, NUFD. His family was told that he had been sentenced to death and that the sentence is due to be carried out on January 14th, according to IHR.
Irfan Soltani's family say he's scheduled to be executed by the authorities in Iran sometime tomorrow. He's 26, and the decision is apparently final. There's no appeal. We don't know the charges, but if the death sentence is carried out, it's believed it may be the first following Iran's brutal crackdown on anti-government dissent after more than 2 weeks of nationwide street protests. Human rights organizations are warning his case could signal the start of mass executions targeting demonstrators.
Irfan Soltani, 26 years old, passionate about fashion, sports, style. He was arrested on Thursday, sentenced to death on Sunday. His family was told he'll be executed tomorrow.
President Donald Trump has, of course, warned that the U.S. will take very strong action if Iran executes pro-democracy protesters, as the world waits to see if the young shopkeeper has been hanged. Things are so dangerous that the U.S. State Department is now warning Americans to leave Iran immediately. That's how bad it is. A country at war with its own citizens.
State Department issuing a travel advisory for U.S. citizens in Iran. The message is short and to the point, quote, leave Iran now, have a plan for departing Iran that does not rely on the U.S. government help. This follows President Trump's warning to the Islamic Republic as reports reveal hundreds of civilians have been killed during anti-government protests.
I highly encourage any American currently in Iran to heed these warnings. Get out now while you can. And here's where the betrayal comes in. The same Democrats who screamed genocide nonstop during the Israel-Hamas war are dead silent, while tens of thousands of Iranians are slaughtered. No marches. No outrage. No hashtags. No tears. Many Iranian Americans, lifelong Democrats, say enough is enough. They feel abandoned, betrayed. Some have become single-issue voters focused on one thing, ending the mullah's regime. They see Democrat appeasement, weak diplomacy, and excuses, and they want no part of it.
How can you be silent? This is not okay. I'm no longer going to support Democrats. You Iranians, none of you should support Democrats. I'm honest. Honestly, I'm livid. I'm livid. I'm done with them. Completely. Just acknowledge the truth. Islamist Marxism is a terrorist entity. 90 million Iranians held hostage for 47 years because of your silence. American people, this is not about being politically correct. This is not about Islam. This is not about religion. This is about a cult. I beg you, I urge everyone, Democrat, Republican, please stand for people of Iran. This time, please stand by us. I beg you. I beg you.
Then there's the hypocrisy circus. In a Piers Morgan uncensored segment, shout out to Piers. You can watch the full segment in his YouTube channel. Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, loud about Israel, loud about Gaza, silent about the Nigerian Christian genocide at the hands of Islamic jihadists, suddenly claims to support Iranian democracy, but opposes any serious action against the IRGC thugs and the Ayatollah. Why? Because he says America would be doing Israel's bidding. So 12 to 20,000 dead Iranians doesn't move him because Israel isn't involved.
In this case, the most important thing to recognize is that there are two separate issues going on here. One is the Iranian people's battle with the regime. And there we support the Iranian people 100%. I would love for Iran to be a democracy, control its own country, and be a beacon for freedom in the Middle East. Well, that would be amazing. I would hope that everybody would want that. But there's a second issue also going on at the same time, which is that Israel wants regime change in Iran. They've wanted it for 20 years. They've agitated it for this entire time, including through the representatives of Israel like Mike Huckabee. He's not our ambassador, he's the Israeli ambassador. And we know that now because he had a secret meeting with Jonathan Pollard, who's a traitor to America. So he meets with traitors secretly, by the way, behind Trump's back, behind the American people's back. Everything he just said to you was propaganda for Israel. They've wanted this regime change forever. I guarantee you this will end in disaster if Israel forces us to get involved. If you care about the Iranian people, we should not bomb them. It will be greatly counterproductive. And I guarantee you that both Israel and America does not want democracy in Iran. What they want instead is a puppet leader. So they will bring in the former Shah, a king, a dictator who will do everything that Israel wants. And then the Iranian people will revolt against him. And then we'll go through this cycle again and again and again. This is literally how we got to the Ayatollah, by us imposing a Shah upon them. So that is a disastrous idea. Do not go into this war. Anti-war means anti-war. War is not peace. George Orwell was a genius.
Okay.
Iranian Canadian activist and politician Goldy Gamari wasn't having it. She called out the hypocrisy, accusing Cenk of laundering Islamic jihadist propaganda while pretending to care about freedom.
I mean, first of all, Cenk is not Iranian, so he has no idea what's going on in occupied Iran. Pretty sure Cenk doesn't speak Persian either, so he probably has no idea what the tens of millions... No, actually, it's Persian. Persian is the English word for Farsi. So don't correct me when I'm speaking and don't interrupt me. I let you speak your garbage jihadi Islamist propaganda.
You should know your native language,
You
though,
do
if
not.
you're
You do not get
expert.
to talk over me. You do not get to talk over me or interrupt me when I'm speaking on behalf of 90 million Iranians who are out in the streets right now fighting for their lives.
You're not
And
speaking on behalf of all Iranians.
You speak. Yes, I am. You speak about how the bombings
When
or
did
whatever.
they elect you?
Why are you speaking over me? Why are you speaking over me? Are you threatened by what I'm about to say? Is that why you want to interrupt me? I suggest you keep your mouth shut.
No, because you're pretending to
until I'm done
represent people
speaking.
that never elected you.
Well, let
Go
her
ahead.
speak. Cenk, with all respect, she'll let you speak. Let her respond.
Yeah, I let you speak your garbage propaganda, so now it's my turn to speak the truth. So do not interrupt me again. What people don't know is that back in 1979, it's not actually a revolution. It was an Islamic coup d'etat. It was orchestrated by the Islamists and the communists, and it was funded and supported by Jimmy Carter, the UK, and France. So what is happening right now? This is Iranians trying to rectify, and they are rectifying, 47-year mistake that was made. And what Iranians are saying is that we are going out and we are not going to stop fighting until we not only overthrow the Islamic dictatorship, but we return our king, because there is only one person that we Iranians trust to transition us from a dictatorship to a democracy, and that is His Royal Highness. And one final point, Iran was not an authoritarian dictatorship prior to 1979. We were a constitutional monarchy, just like England. That is what we are fighting for. So anyone who says that Iran was an authoritarian dictatorship, they know nothing about the country, because we used to be a constitutional monarchy.
And Cenk's Young Turks partner, Anna Kasparian, wasn't spared either. Her past comments defending the Islamist regime in Iran against Israel during a previous episode of Piers Morgan, accusing Israel of wanting regime change in Iran, came back to haunt her.
On the left, you end up sounding like you're, shilling for a vile regime. The Iranian regime oppresses women.
Clear.
Well, hang on. Let me
clear,
hang on.
Pierce.
They oppress
I know
women.
what you're going to say. I
No,
know.
but
I hate the regime in Iran.
Right.
I hate the regime.
So why
in Iran.
wouldn't you want
I
it
hate
changing?
the mullahs. There are Armenians living in Iran right now who hate the mullahs. Okay, but regime change should not be spurred by the United States and Israel, which wants to install a puppet government on their behalf. And by the way, the Iranians know that. They know that. Polling indicates the vast majority of them want regime change. They don't want it to be done by Israel.
Masih Alinejad, a US-based Iranian dissident journalist who survived multiple assassination plots by the Ayatollah's regime, responded to Anna in a recent video. She accused her of spreading narratives that would make the Ayatollah and the IRAGC proud. This is a woman the regime tried to murder. And she sees right through the fake activism.
Israel, which wants to install...
You don't hate the regime in Iran. You don't hate the Islamic Republic. You hate us. You hate every single woman who get beaten up, who go to prison, who get lashes for the crime of just simply dressing like you. You hate us because you give misinformation to international community right now. Absolutely darkness in Iran because of the internet shutdown. Iranians have no voices, but you go on Iran, on Iran talking everywhere to international media and giving wrong information. You say that the Iranian people do not want regime change being imposed by Trump administration or Prime Minister Netanyahu. Who said that? Iranian took to the streets since 2009, 6 major uprising, and they made it clear that this is the people of Iran who want to change the regime. And then you saying that this is external regime change. When you say that, it just reminds me of the time when I launched my campaign against compulsory hijab. Ilhan Omar, the hijabi congresswoman, said the exact same thing, accused me, saying that smear campaign everywhere. She said that Masih Alinejad is the mouthpiece of President Trump and her campaign is being pushed by Trump administration. And guess what? The day after, the Iranian state television used her information to attack me. And a month later, Ali Khamenei, the leader of the Islamic Republic, used the same narrative, saying that that American agent must be killed. Yes. With the same narrative, he ordered my killing. And guess what? They hired killers to kill me on US soil 3 times. Now you're doing the same thing by accusing Iranians being led by Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump, by accusing them promoting external regime change. You are actually giving excuse to Iranian regime to slaughter Iranians, to kill innocent and unarmed protesters. This is what you're doing. And stop doing that. If you decided to keep silent, that's fine. But when people of Iran are being banned from internet, they don't have a voice, don't go on media and talk on behalf of them. Let us talk. Let us talk. Because of your narrative, right now, thousands of people have been killed in the streets because the Islamic Republic officials took on state television saying the exact same thing that you said, that this is external regime change being led by Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump. It's not. We, the people of Iran, being trapped by a barbaric regime, by a terrorist regime. And they are slaughtering people. They are killing people. More than 2,000 people have been killed. We are the East Germany. Be brave and stand with the people of Iran. If you cannot, then don't help the Iranian regime to kill us with the same accusations. Is that too much to ask?
Across the United States and Canada, Iranian communities are standing up for their people back home. Many openly thank President Donald Trump for backing maximum pressure against the regime when others chose appeasement. Even in Sacramento, a Democratic heartland, they made their voices and solidarity heard.
Days after an internet blackout in Iran, demonstrations have spread far beyond the country's borders, with Iranians both at home and abroad calling for an end to the Islamic Republic. Here in Northern California, people say they're not asking for much, just the chance to live a normal life without repression.
You have to look into, in past 47 years, the brutality of the regime, how it started, because they imprison people and they have no democratic rights.
The frustration and anger was on full display in Roseville over the weekend, as Iranians with loved ones still back home stood in solidarity. Many say conditions in Iran have been deteriorating for years, from severe water shortages to a crushing economic crisis driven by soaring inflation. And for many, going back is simply not an option.
I do travel around the globe. I love to go see it, but not during the Islamic Republic at this time.
These protests are giving many Iranians hope that real change could be possible. This latest wave began with the bazaris, merchants and shop owners who have historically been loyal to the regime, a sign to many that even some of its traditional supporters may be turning.
In Toronto, protesters also thanked Donald Trump and called for regime change while showing support for family and friends back home. There were also protesters in Washington, D.C., echoing the same sentiment.
Just after 3 o'clock this afternoon, this group of protesters held a demonstration on 23rd Street Northwest. The small group gathered outside the office of the interest section of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Activists say they will continue protesting in support of the people putting their lives on the line for regime change in Iran.
We wanted to just end the regime and have a free and democratic election, and people will choose which way they want to go for their future.
Siamak Aram says he's in awe of the people putting their lives on the line for change.
So here's the question, Iranians, and anyone who actually believes in freedom are asking, where are the compassionate leftists now? Where are the protesters? Where are the pro-Hamas activists? Where is the outrage? Because when the victims aren't politically convenient, the silence is deafening. Freedom is not selective. Human rights do not depend on which side of the political aisle the victims fall on. If your compassion only activates when it's politically convenient, then it isn't compassion. It's propaganda. 12 to 20,000 dead Iranians should matter, regardless of your ideology, even when Israel isn't part of the story. Silence in the face of evil is not neutrality. It is a choice. The Iranian people are risking everything for freedom. The least the world can do is stop looking away. This is Chisom's Insight. Thank you for watching. And remember, keep fighting for justice and freedom no matter who is involved. Peace.